You.
Excellent.
There we go.
Happy Memorial Day to you, Josh. We are back with certainly a shortened week this week, but the Real Estate Hackers is ready to go live and come at everybody with some really great content this week. We're focusing on marketing, specifically marketing to get your phone ringing with motivated sellers calling you saying, "Hey, Josh, please come by my house." And there's ways to do that work. There's ways to do that worked in 1970 but don't work today. And we're going to be focused on what you can do as a newbie, what you can do as you scale your business, and that is going to be our theme this week. But before we get to any of that, how's your Memorial Day weekend, my friend? We had painfully beautiful weather.
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. And after a Saturday, Sunday that wasn't so great. I mean, yesterday was just gorgeous. I mean, I had plans to get some work done. Ended up spending the day at the park and, falling in the stream with my kids. It was fun.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, it was just painfully wonderful weather, and you can see I was out and got a little bit of sun and everything like that. So I am. And today's another gorgeous day. I think that as we continue to open and as we continue to move forward, we always talk a little bit about news here at the beginning of the day, but Wall Street Journal just did an article about how mortgage applications are up and about how businesses opening up are not doing as bad as what people thought, and projections are looking good. On Friday, we're going to get consumer sentiment and consumer spending and some other things like that are going to be really interesting to see. As a lot of other states are more open than PA is right now, but as we continue to open, we're going to see how this affects us all.
Well, you know what I thought is interesting is Friday I went to pick up some dinner, and I'm driving down the road. It's a beautiful afternoon. I got the window down. And I'm looking around, and it struck me that so many people were out and about. It felt normal again until I got to the restaurant, and then I put my mask on to go pick up the food, right?
Right.
But it's really interesting. It's an interesting dynamic because it feels like everybody is in that mode where it's like, all right, you know what? I'll do what I got to do, but we're back at it. Today's, things are back to normal. At least people are feeling that way. And Pennsylvania, or what am I trying to say? Governor Wolf on Friday announced an end to some of the really, code red or red, whatever, in eastern Pennsylvania as well. So I think people are seeing the end of the tunnel in sight with some of the announcements of like the green transition to green zones and stuff like that. It's a good outlook, and I think people are ready to get back to life.
Yeah, I got to tell you, this beautiful weather. I'm a part-time skydiver, and this beautiful weather is hard to endure without throwing myself out of airplanes into the great blue beyond. And so we're inching closer and closer, and I can't wait. So I think that's all great, and we're definitely going to be talking more about that on Friday. Josh, just to kind of introduce the show here a little bit today, why don't you tell us who you are?
Sure.
And tell us about Hard Money Bankers.
Right, exactly. So Hard Money Bankers, we're a local lender. We have branches in Philadelphia, North Jersey, Maryland, and Central PA. We loan locally around each of our offices, which means that we know the market. We can react really quickly, and we are a direct lender, which that just basically means to you, if you're a borrower, that you call me up, you give me some basics about the property, some basics about your situation, what you want to do with this building, and within a couple hours we can get you approved for a loan. And if the title work's done and it's ready to go, we can close within 24 hours. So it's pretty straightforward, but it's if you're looking to take advantage of people getting back to business and starting to buy homes again, hey, we're a good option. So yeah. And Judah, now it's your turn to do a change.
Yeah. So my name's Judah Hoover. I'm an executive with Slate House Group Property Management, and we are all about being a investor friendly and an investor focused real estate company. We are a modern real estate company is one of our taglines. We manage about 4,000 properties in about four different states. We are very excited because we're coming up on the third time we're going to be collecting a rent check during this government-imposed shutdown. And in spite of all of that, we feel that we're doing really well, and we feel that our numbers are reflecting that. We've collected about 98% of rent, and you still place in a high number of tenants and fill in vacancies. So if you're out there, you're looking for a property management solution anywhere in large swaths of Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Virginia, and Maryland, we would love to talk to you.
Awesome. So last week I sent out 7 books on last Friday that people are probably getting them in their mailbox today. Just to bring that up, I've got a book called Property Hackers. If you are a real estate investor, or even if you're not, and you want to get involved, it's a great way to get started. We're giving away a book a day here to the best comments, so please get involved. We want a lot of interaction from a community of people watching live and commenting after the fact on on Facebook or wherever you're seeing this. So without
definitely leave comments, people. Good stuff, bad stuff, questions. If it's bad stuff, try to be friendly and polite. But we're definitely interested in what you have to say, because this isn't just Josh and I talking here. This is trying to deliver great content and great information.
That's right. All right. So today's topic is near and dear to my heart. I love talking about marketing. It's really fun. I had a wholesale company from 2007 till late 2010 in Philadelphia. We used to generate somewhere between 100 and 200 leads every single week. And that turned into 10 or 12 closings every month. So I love.
So just stop and think about those numbers for just a second, everybody. 100 to 200 leads a week. So let's take that on the low side and say that it was 100 leads a week. That's 400 leads to generate 10 closings.
That's right.
You've got to, as they say in the dating world, you got to kiss a lot of frogs to find your prince. You've got to do what it takes to generate a whole lot of inbound calls. You will get people giving you their property, and you will be able to steal real estate from people if you do your marketing right. However, it's not quick, cheap, or easy, and I don't mean cheap money wise. I mean there's sweat that goes into this.
That's exactly right. And if you do it wrong, you can spend an awful lot of money and get zero, absolute zero. Yeah. So we're gonna show you how to do this right, and we're gonna dig pretty deeply into a couple different areas. But for today, I wanted to start by really looking at the fundamentals. Like, what are the underlying principles that you can apply to any marketing platform, whether you just want to do direct mail, which is, kind of tried and true, or bandit signs, or if you want to dig into social media and a lot of the other marketing that's out there, do something completely new. I think it's important to really understand the fundamentals to get started. All right. So, let's start with what is marketing, because that's really the question. Let's kind of define it before we get into the nitty gritty, right? And my take on marketing is, it's twofold. Number one, you're attracting people to contact you about selling their house, but it's more than that, really. You want to take leads. These are the people that are just contacting you the first time, turn them into prospects, people that are actually interested in selling to you at a discounted price, turn those people into clients or sellers, and then transition those people into fans, because the fans are the ones that, they might not have 20 houses to sell you, but they know people that need or want to sell their property. And if they like you, if they had a great experience and they already went through the process, guess what? They're going to become the best billboard that you could ever have, to get people working.
I completely agree, Josh. One of the people always talk about, what's the One of my favorite cheap or free marketing techniques. One of my favorite marketing techniques is asking everybody, do you have any other real estate to sell?
Yeah.
Because sometimes people will call you about one piece of real estate and you'll go through it and it won't work and you're not interested, but you ask them, do you have any other real estate to sell? And you find out that, their mom's house has also been a burden to them, or they know somebody from church who has something. And the only way that works is if you go through that process and end up having people as fans of yours.
That's exactly right. So how do you do this? The one thing that's really important to understand is that everything that you do within your business, it portrays a message to the person on the other end of that message, right? Whether you intend it or not. So everything you do is marketing. Whether you're sending out a postcard, whether you are, sending an email, whether you're making a post online, it's a social media or, whatever, everything that you do has a marketing component. And it's important to keep that in mind when you're interacting with people. I mean, there's nothing, sorry about this. This is making too much noise. There's nothing wrong with sending out a really brief email to people, but why wouldn't you have an email signature that has every, social media platform you're involved with, a logo for your company, a really quick description of how to get in touch with you. And like, maybe you got a free report that you link to at the bottom that has something to do with your company, because you never know who you're going to talk to, where it's going to circle back, that they're going to pass along an article or a video that they saw that you did, and it'll circle back to you. And I like to call that marketing karma.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. I completely agree.
Yeah. All right. So why market? This goes into a couple different areas. And in the past, the idea of marketing or advertising was really in building a brand. It was very uncommon for you to get an immediate response, especially from, big retailers or like big brands. And brand building, people would spend millions. Think about it. Think about the Super Bowl commercials. When was the last time you saw a Super Bowl commercial where it was like, pick up the phone and call, blah, 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 blah? It never happens, right? It's all about creating a feel for that brand. And if you think of Coca-Cola as an example, they spend millions and millions and hundreds of millions of dollars a year so that when you're ready to pick up a cola, it's not a question of who you're going to pick up. It's not even about what tastes best. It's about, oh, Coke. Oh, yeah, of course, I'm going to grab a Coke, or Pepsi, or whatever else. It's the feeling behind it. Well, with social media and the internet, now you have the opportunity to be able to build your own brand and tell people about yourself without that expectation of immediate return at a very, very low cost, or a fraction of what you would have paid before. And so that's really a nice thing about living in the information age. I mean, I think that's a huge.
Yeah, I would say think of it this way. Brand building is when a company tells you about who they are, what their mission is, and they're looking for feelings. They're not looking for actions. And if somebody's not, there's another place for marketing specific products and specific things, that what you're looking for is a call to action. But with the brand building campaign, and it's important to, even if you don't do these for your real estate business, to understand so you can differentiate what specific type of campaign you're doing. Are you going for a brand building campaign, or are you going for a call to action? And Coca-Cola focuses a lot of their time, effort, and energy, because they've got deep pockets and a long timeline, not advertising specific products, not advertising specific price points or specific deals. You never say, go down to your local grocery store and packs of 6 packs of Coca-Cola are on sale for $2.95.
Right.
That's not what you see with Coca-Cola. Pontiac got in big trouble with this because in the 1960s and 70s, American car manufacturers started to go less on trading on the fact that they were American cars, and they tried to do more advertising based on the numbers, 0 to 60 or miles per gallon or safety or whatever. And a lot of American cars just lose when you look at the numbers compared to foreign jobs. So Pontiac really responded aggressively to this. And you probably remember the advertising campaigns in the 80s. I sure do. Pontiac is driving excitement. Do you remember those ads? Pontiac driving excitement. It was to create a feeling. It wasn't supposed to, brag about the specific stats of the car that they knew maybe could or couldn't stand up to other cars. It was about creating a feeling.
Well, and so let's contrast that to creating leads. If you've got a limited ad budget, one of the things that when I first got started that people told me was like, look, you got to throw away the brand building. And to be frank, nobody, even if you are the biggest home buyer in the entire country, nobody's going to know your name. The average person is going to buy and sell less than 5 properties in their entire life. You want to do that every 2 weeks. So the idea here that you're going to build a brand that people are going to recognize, like Coca-Cola or Nike or Canon or any of these big brands on the right here on the slide, it's unlikely. What you need to do is to create marketing pieces that are going to incite people to take action. And that is the direct response. You are sending out a marketing piece to a specific group of people that have a likelihood to react to that marketing piece. And in this case, we want to generate leads, right?
Right.
It's all about being.
So let's talk about that real quick, Josh. So, I see newbie real estate investors spending a whole bunch of time coming up with a creative name for their company.
Yep.
Or coming up with a logo and putting a bunch of time, effort, and energy into that. Or they refuse to do anything but refer to their company. I have several LLCs and have had several LLCs. My brand is the Judah Hoover. You know what I mean? I realized a long time ago that nobody. I'm never gonna have the blue check mark on Twitter. You know what I mean? I'm never going to be famous. So don't try to be half famous. Just be who you are and focus on being the best you can be. And what I want to do is I want to create friendships with people on a personal level. And I want to create calls to action in all my marketing, not let people, I don't care what people associate. I don't care to build a brand.
Well, so let's put that in context also. Look at a guy like Gary Vaynerchuk.
Mm-hmm.
If you've never connected with him or watched any of his content, he's amazing. He's the best marketer out there. Most of his campaigns or most of his little videos or whatever, they end with his signature. Even though he's got VaynerMedia, he's got WineLibrary.com, who knows whatever else. He's an investor in a ton of different companies. It's all about him. He becomes the brand, and you can do the same thing as an individual. And you know what? If your company grows and it's the biggest home buyer in central Pennsylvania, that's great. But people want to identify with you. I heard about an agent out of the DC market years ago where he instructed, they did a lot of outbound calling to generate leads for people that wanted to sell their home. Every time somebody reached out from his office, their line started with, "Hey, Joe Smith. Hi, this is Mary. I'm calling from Joe Smith's office. I just wanted to let you know, Joe wanted to say so-and-so."
Right.
So the seller gets off the phone and she says, "Oh yeah, Joe Smith just called. He wanted to let us know, boom, 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 boom." You can give that personal connection and be that brand without having it be a corporate name or whatever else. It can be you. So that's a good point, Judah.
100%.
The other thing that you want to do, the other reason that you want to market is that you want to transition people from being a passive participant, passive observer to an active participant. And here's how that happens. Guess what? You're doing a social media post, right? And people like your posts. They're interesting. You're watching a show like this. Well, guess what? We do these little ad snippets at the beginning of the show where we say, "Hey, look, if you're looking for a hard money loan, give me a call." Well, we build a relationship. If you're watching this video, you see me every day. We talk, you're putting your feedback in the comments and it becomes a dialogue. Hopefully you're taking something great away from these shows, learning something. So guess what? When it's time to go and get a hard money loan for your first or fifth or 100th project, why not give Josh a call? Let's see what he has to offer. that's the kind of that's a kind of continual branding and continual interaction that you want with a lead or prospect or whatever. We're transitioning people from, hey, I just have interest, to, hey, I'm interested in using your product, to, hey, I've used your product and now I really love the product. I love what you're doing for me. Let's keep this going. I want to tell other people about it.
Right.
Continual marketing is important. Let's see here.
All right. 10 minutes and a bunch of content, Josh. Keep on rocking, buddy.
Oh my gracious. Let's get rolling. All right. The 3 M's of marketing. Very important. If you do this right, your marketing campaign will explode. You'll have more leads than you know what to do with. If you do it wrong, it won't work.
Right.
And let me give you an example. Let's say you're selling Ferraris. Where are you going to put that ad campaign? You're going to put it in a oh my gosh, now I'm drawing a blank.
You're not going to put it in farming. You're not going to put it in Lancaster County farming, for example.
Or
even though most Lancaster County farmers have the cash to buy have the cash on hand to buy a Ferrari.
Exactly. Or you're not going to put it in a free newspaper that gets delivered to every house. Right. You're going to put it in the Wall Street Journal, where you've got high net worth people, right? So we've got 3 parts. We've got the message. That's the what. What are you going to say? What do you want to say? Here's an example, like Eda Joe's, right? That's the example. Market. Who are the people that you're trying to talk to? In real estate investing, these are people that want or need to sell their house, or very specific subgroups of people, and we'll get into those in a minute. The media. This is really simple. How's the message delivered? You got a Diners magazine that's targeted towards hungry people, and the message is eat at Joe's. Really simple, right? If it all fits together well, the phone rings.
Here's what you need to remember. I picked this up somewhere along the line when it comes to these 3 M's of marketing. The 4th one that people don't talk about is, you've alluded to it twice, is match. Media, market, message, match. You've got to try and match those things up so that they all kind of work together.
There you go. I'm going to change my slide next time.
That one's for free, buddy.
There we go. All right. The who for motivated sellers. Generally, we just touched on this. Anyone who wants or needs to sell their house. And a subgroup of that, people who are likely and able to sell for less than fair market value. That's our subgroup. I break this into 3 general groups of people. You've got unearned equity. These are, people that inherited their property. Sometimes they're retired landlords who have maxed out all of the returns. They've depreciated the property. They've gotten all the rent roll, the mortgages paid down, all that kind of stuff. You've got the 4 Ds. The 4 Ds are death, divorce, disease, and distress. These are core groups that, look, a lot of times you end up bailing them out of a really bad situation. It's not comfortable. It's not fun at all. But they're people that are motivated to rid themselves of these properties. And then the 3rd group, which is really huge, that's other. This is going to be, out-of-state owners. And these are people, a lot of times, you target this group. It's like they were forced to move because of a job transfer, and they've got this property that's either vacant or they wanted to rent it. Or maybe they inherited a property out of state and it's just sitting there. Or, they've got a bad landlord situation. They bought a property halfway across the country and, they're just ready to get rid of it. Out-of-state owners are typically a group that is going to have some reason to sell. Evictions. I love eviction filings. Nobody likes an eviction. And, unless you are going to, what am I trying to say? Unless you're going to keep the property and you just roll with the punches, a lot of times, some of these evictions are like the 2nd or the 3rd time these owners have had to evict somebody from the property. So it's a big one.
Yeah. Just really quickly on that eviction thing, some of my best leads have come from marketing to vacant properties, calling or emailing owners of vacant properties, because if you're a landlord and your property is vacant, you have a higher likelihood of being motivated to sell landlord.
That's right. I can't believe I missed vacant. Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's what somebody goes through an eviction eviction filing, then that property is vacant. I just come in a little bit later once I've actually got the property ready for rent. I say, hey, listen, let's talk about this.
Right. Exactly. Violations on the properties and tax liens. These are also really great groups. They're motivated people, or motivated sellers. I mean, think about it like this. If the property's in bad shape, there's probably a reason. If there's tax liens on the property, there's probably some other financial situations that are contributing to that tax lien. It's often that more than one thing that's causing someone to need or want to sell and fall into these categories. There's a lot of overlap in these.
One of my other favorites, Josh, is for sale by owner leads, because the normative way that somebody sells their house is they list it with a realtor. If somebody doesn't list their house with a realtor and they're putting a sign out front that says for sale by owner, or running ads that say for sale by owner, and there's even web services that I don't even know how they scrape and track the data, but they like for salebyowner.com, and there's others like, just Google. I can't think of the name now.
We're just driving around. Or just driving around.
Absolutely. But the point is that there's something, I don't want to say wrong, but there's a reason you're not listing your house with a realtor. Either there's something wrong about your situation, or there's something wrong about your perception of reality if you're not listing a house with a realtor to sell. And so usually there's some uncovered secondary motivation there that you can come up with if you call for sale by owner leads.
Steve made a really good comment here. We're not likely to see a lot of eviction filings in the near term because they're stayed until July. And that's obviously true. But imagine how upset that owner is going to be when the house is trashed and the tenant hasn't paid rent in 4 months. Like that's a big one. So let's jump along here. We talked about the who and what. All right. So constructing the message. Putting your message together is really important. I've written so much copy on letters and postcards and email content and all that kind of stuff. The postcards and the marketing that I have found the most success with have been the simplest and straight to the point. You want to keep it relevant to the who. The person that you're targeting is really, really important here. And you want to spend time creating a message that relates to them, right? So if it's a landlord and that is evicting a tenant, maybe you start off with, don't you just love those toilets and tenants and all the mess? You know what I mean? Like that's a good way to start. It's going to catch their attention. They're part of that target group. You don't want to.
Small point of caution: you're using sarcasm there, which you've got to be very careful if you're going to intentionally use sarcasm. And a lot of people use sarcasm so much that they don't even realize that they're using it, and sometimes it comes across incorrectly.
Well, so Judah made a good point here. I'm going to follow up on that. You're not going to send one message. We're not going to target them one time, because if you hit them one time, you will have no results, zero. You'll get the low-hanging fruit maybe, but we want to have 5, 6, 7, 8 different messages, and be in front of them in a lot of different ways. So
it's better to send 5 postcards to 1,000 people than send 1 postcard to 5,000 people.
That's right. That's exactly.
Take whatever your marketing budget is, however many postcards you think you can send, at least divide it by 5. Some people would say 8 to 12 is better, but at least divide it by 5.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. So the last 2 things here is you want a clear call to action. I've seen messages sent out. In fact, I've gotten postcards from people that they tell me all the good stuff that they can do for me, and then that's it. And like I'm searching for how to contact them, and it's a little, it's in their signature line. There's a small phone number or there's an email address. Tell people how you want to get contacted. Hey, call me today at 717-555-1212. Whatever it is, be really straightforward with it. And on every message, there will always be an offer. There's always a reason to contact me today that won't be around tomorrow. You know, a lot of times it's just, hey, I'll cover your closing cost if you mention this postcard before the end of May. You know, whatever it is,
That's called creating urgency.
That's right. That's right. And the last thing here is where and how to deliver your message. This is by far not, not inclusive of every possible outlet, but it is a great way to do a number of different things here. So I love postcards. I love outbound calling. Judah, I know you're a huge fan of bandit signs, text messaging, social, but imagine a situation, excuse me, imagine you have a list of 1,000 people and you send them out a postcard. Mary Smith picks up one of the postcards. She sees your website on the bottom. She goes to your website to check you out. Well, you've been adding content. You've got special things for different types of owners. She goes to the section that she likes. She's a landlord with a current eviction. She goes to the page that says something about evictions on it. Well, when she goes there, you're recording you're putting a tracking pixel for Facebook and for Google on her site. And if you don't know what a tracking pixel is, we'll get into that in another show. But the idea is now there's ads that are going to follow her around the internet on her browser, and for Facebook and for and for her web browser. So anywhere she goes, she's going to see another ad, and that's the same eviction message. She gets another postcard from you. Then she gets a phone call. By month 2, she's gotten about 20 different contact points from you and your company that have the exact same message. Guess what? When she's ready to sell, she's calling you. She might not sell you the house, but she's going to call you because you've used a lot of different aspects of, a lot of different outlets. So direct mail, very straightforward, postcards and letters. Bandit signs are a good one. Telemarketing. Text messaging is becoming more and more familiar to people and used a lot more. Voicemail drops are something that I love. Social media is an obvious one. I would recommend paid ads on Facebook, Instagram. YouTube is getting more and more cost effective. And I know people that use TikTok as well. Not my thing. But Google, you have search and remarketing.
You're not a 26-year-old girl, Josh? Is that what you're telling me?
No, but guess what? Those 16-year-olds grow to be 36 and get in front of them early. I mean, that's what happened with Facebook, right?
Right.
Anyway, so canvassing and door to door, this has been my most successful campaign of all time. I mean, we would pull at least 100 leads a week, door knocking. In specific areas. That's something we can talk about later. And flyer drops and postings in specific areas are always good. So, I mean, there's a lot of how and where to put your message out there. But again, it's got to sync. It's got to match with your market and with your message.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Man, great content. I am looking forward to digging deeper into this as the weeks go on. We've got a couple guests that we are working on for our Thursday show, and we'll be able to make an announcement there. The holiday weekend has us a little bit further behind on booking than what we should, but we're going to have
with that. I think we might put off the guests till next week because we have a lot of content to cover here before we can even continue the conversation. So
yeah, so that sounds great. Josh, another great show in the can as they speak, and I am looking forward to seeing everybody tomorrow at noon right here on the Real Estate Hackers live at 12 every day.
Bankers. All right. See you guys. Have a great day. Take care.